What's up guys, CJ here, and welcome to our review of the premiere of FX's all-new X-Men spin-off series, Legion. Let me just start off by simply saying, one episode in, this show, written and directed by the Fargo series creator Noah Hawley, is just absolutely spectacular, as you'd expect from a showrunner of that caliber. I've honestly never, ever seen anything like it on TV, and I can pretty safely say that even though I'm not exactly a huge hater of the Fox X-Men movie franchise, if this show keeps up this level of quality, this will be hands down the best thing to ever come out of Fox's owning the property, without a doubt, by a country mile. But with that said, with that out of the way, let's get into the review. Our series follows David Haller, played by Dan Stevens, an Omega-level mutant who just so happens to be schizophrenic. His long struggle with his mental illness has kind of hidden from him the fact that he actually does have these powers, and it's not all just in his head. Much of the first episode takes place in flashbacks to the mental hospital he's lived in for the last 6 years, and our episode actually opens as he's being visited by his older sister on his birthday. In a pretty huge moment of foreshadowing, he tells her something has to change, and soon. That change comes in the form of a new arrival, Sydney Barrett, played by Rachel Keller, a woman who fears being touched. Much to the amusement of his good friend Lenny, played by Aubrey Plaza, David is instantly smitten and thus kicks off the relationship at the center of the series. When we aren't at the mental hospital, we're in what we later learn is the present day, and David is being questioned, or more accurately interrogated, about a mysterious event that occurred at the mental hospital by members of a military force that hunts down mutants. What was the event? Well, it all started with an upsetting revelation. Sid was getting out. But on the day she was scheduled to leave, David made a pretty rash decision. He kissed her, and that turned out to be a huge mistake, as suddenly things go very, very wrong. You see, Sid was actually a mutant herself, and her fear of being touched either was a cover for or stems from her mutant ability, temporarily swapping bodies on skin contact. David was released in her place, technically in her body, while Sid, now in David's body, suddenly with some pretty ridiculous and as yet unexplained powers, stuck all the mental patients in their rooms, only to take away the doors and seal them up with walls instead, and accidentally killed Lenny in the process by sticking her only partially through a solid wall. When the temporary swapping wore off, David was on the outside and now on the run, but after the incident at the hospital, he was on the radar for several groups, some for and some against mutants. Pretty quickly, David was captured, and boom, our timelines have converged. But shortly thereafter, we get a pretty remarkable jailbreak thanks to Sid and a couple of other mutants who, let's just say, explosively take care of the interrogator and the armed guards. This is actually where our premiere episode kind of leaves us, with David seemingly safe in the custody and care of other mutants, including one who, I shit you not, was tossing these armed guards around ragdoll style left and right like this was the Force Unleashed or something. But we're left with a lot more questions than answers. Who is the devil with the yellow eyes that David keeps seeing? Is he potentially Mojo or even Shadow King? What are David's actual powers? Who is this group of mutants? And maybe even most importantly, is any of this real? I've seen some reviewers speculating David taking the hand of Melanie Bird, the older, wizened leader of these mutants, as kind of a metaphor that in the next episode things will start to be more solid and less disjointed. That remains to be seen, until next week at least, but overall I think the disjointedness of the episode as a whole, as well as the use of lighting and color, really served as a metaphor in and of itself. It kind of puts you in David's shoes, gave you a little taste of his condition and that schizophrenia, as showrunner Noah Hawley said was the intention. So I don't want to see that go completely away, but some stability wouldn't be a bad thing either. From a writing standpoint, the episode is just phenomenal. I mean, Hawley isn't just a big picture, grand idea and design kind of guy, though. He's really good at that too. But he executes really well in personal scenes, or really on just about every level, and it really shines and shows in this series. The acting so far is spectacular as well, starting with the leading man himself, Dan Stevens. He's come a long way from Downton Abbey, and really, he's got an opportunity here to show off another side of his range, which he really does one episode in. As the leading lady, Rachel Keller does a stellar job as Sid, with a whole lot of heart and insecurity. It'll be interesting to see how her character adapts as we get to see the real Sid in future episodes, and not just David's memory of her as told to interrogators. Aubrey Plaza briefly shines as the eccentric Lenny, who, don't worry, will still be around, as she's manifesting herself now as one of David's schizophrenic hallucinations, or so it seems. All in all, I really enjoyed this premiere episode. As I kind of hinted in the beginning of this review, if Holly and company keep this up, this might be something really special, and maybe, just maybe, one of the best superhero adaptations, not just shows, one of the best superhero adaptations ever made. Overall, I'll give Legion Chapter 1 a 9.5 out of 10, and I just can't wait to see more next week. So let me know what you thought in the comments section down below, but that's going to do it for me here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash that like if you like what you saw, and subscribe for more great content every single day. Signing off, this is CJ, and I'll see you next time.